Welcome back to our channel, dear friends. It is a beautiful day to gather together, pour a fresh, warm cup of coffee, and dive deep into the stories that keep our hearts beating fast and our minds racing. We have so much to unpack today, and I am just brimming with thoughts and emotions that I simply must share with all of you. I have to tell you, my heart was just in my throat watching the scenes unfold at Nina Reeves' house. Picture this, if you will. Poor Willow, waking up on Nina's sofa, looking so incredibly small, fragile, and utterly disoriented. As I sat there watching her eyelids flutter open, I could feel a knot forming in my own stomach. There is something so deeply unsettling about waking up and not knowing where you are, how you got there, or what happened to you in the hours before. For a young mother like Willow, a woman who is usually so grounded and responsible, that feeling of losing control must have been absolutely terrifying. I could see the confusion washing over her face, the way she looked around Nina's familiar living room as if it were a foreign planet. It broke my heart to see her so vulnerable, stripped of her usual strength and clarity, just trying to grasp onto any memory that could explain why her head was spinning and her body felt so heavy. And then there is Nina. Oh, Nina. I could feel every ounce of her maternal panic and protective instinct radiating through the screen. Nina was standing there, watching her daughter struggle to wake up, and you could just see the wheels turning in her head. We all know the complicated, painful, and often heartbreaking history between these two women. Nina missed out on so much of Willow's life, and she has spent years trying to make up for lost time, trying to earn a place in her daughter's heart. So, to have Willow under her roof, needing her care in such a desperate moment, it must have stirred up a whirlwind of emotions for Nina. But Nina is also a very sharp woman. She didn't just sit there wringing her hands. She started looking at the situation with a critical eye. I watched as she began to piece the clues together, her mind racing back over the events of the day, the people who were around, and the strange, sudden way Willow had collapsed. When Nina's mind finally landed on the truth, when she realized that Willow's drink had likely been drugged by Jacinda, I actually gasped out loud in my living room. I just couldn't believe the sheer wickedness of it. As a mother and a grandmother myself, the idea of someone slipping a substance into a young woman's drink is my absolute worst nightmare. It is such a profound violation of safety and trust. I felt a cold chill go down my spine thinking about what could have happened if Nina hadn't been there, if Willow had been left alone or, heaven forbid, in the wrong hands. Jacinda's actions are not just cruel, they are deeply dangerous and reckless. It takes a very dark, selfish kind of person to drug someone just to get them out of the way or to cause trouble. I found myself feeling incredibly angry on Willow's behalf, and I know that my anger is only a tiny fraction of what is about to explode on our screens. Because let me tell you, when Willow finally shakes off that grogginess and the fog clears from her mind, she is going to be furious, and she has every right to be. We have watched Willow grow from a soft-spoken, sometimes timid young woman into a fierce, protective mother and a strong wife. She has fought cancer, she has fought for her children, and she is not going to take this lying down. When she realizes that Jacinda violated her body and her mind like that, the anger is going to be a force of nature. But what really has me on the edge of my seat is how this anger is going to spill over. This isn't just going to be a simple confrontation between Willow and Jacinda. No, this incident is like tossing a lit match into a room full of gasoline, and the room I am talking about is the deeply troubled marriage between Willow and Michael. We all know that Willow and Michael have been in the middle of an absolute war lately. Their relationship, which used to be the sweet, stable center of the show, has been fractured by secrets, betrayals, and so much stubborn pride. I have cried tears for them, remembering how beautifully they used to love each other. Right now, Willow is on a mission. She has a goal, and that goal is to win back Michael's love, to fix her family, and to make things right again. But when you are in a war, even an emotional one with your spouse, everything gets twisted. I am so worried that this drugging incident is going to be misunderstood. What if Michael thinks Willow was just being irresponsible? What if he doesn't believe her at first? Or worse, what if Willow's righteous fury at Jacinda makes her act out in ways that push Michael even further away? When you are desperately trying to win someone back, you need a clear head and a calm heart. But Willow has just been drugged, violated, and pushed to her absolute limit. I can see her taking this anger and using it as a weapon, marching into battle to reclaim her life, but doing it with such intensity that it scares Michael away. The tension between them is already so thick you could cut it with a knife, and this new trouble is pushing everything so much further than it ever needed to go. It proves just how far gone things are, that Willow is now caught in these extreme, dangerous situations while simply trying to navigate her way back to her husband. The stakes have never been higher for her, and the explosion that is coming is going to shake their whole family to its core. And this brings me right back to Nina, who is standing on the sidelines watching this disaster unfold, completely terrified. I could feel Nina's deep, aching fear that this conflict between Willow and Michael is going to spiral completely out of control. Nina knows a thing or two about letting anger and desperation ruin a good thing. She has made so many mistakes in her own life, acting out of hurt and fear, and she recognizes that same dangerous energy brewing around her daughter right now. Nina is terrified that if Willow goes to war over this, if she lets her fury at Jacinda and her desperation for Michael take the wheel, there will be terrible consequences for the whole family. Think about little Wiley and Amelia. Those precious, innocent children are the ones who suffer the most when their parents are at war. Nina loves those grandchildren with every fiber of her being, and the thought of their home being torn apart by this escalating conflict is more than she can bear. But what makes it all so incredibly tragic is the tension that still exists between Nina and Willow. Even in this moment, where Nina is the one who saved Willow, where Nina is the one figuring out the truth and trying to protect her, there is still that heavy, unspoken baggage between them. Willow doesn't fully trust Nina yet. Every time Nina tries to step in and help, it feels like she is walking through a minefield. I watched Nina's face, and I could see the internal struggle. She wants to scream from the rooftops. She wants to go after Jacinda herself, and she wants to shake Michael and Willow and tell them to stop this foolish war before they lose each other forever. But she knows she has to tread so carefully. If Nina pushes too hard, Willow will put her walls right back up. The tension between the two of them is practically vibrating off the screen. It is a very real, very raw depiction of a mother and daughter trying to navigate a relationship that is built on cracked foundations. You can feel that something has to give. The pressure is building, the secrets are coming out, and the anger is rising. I have spent so many years watching these families love, fight, break apart, and come back together. And I have to say, this current storyline feels incredibly heavy and real. The idea of Willow waking up on that sofa, her head pounding, only to find out that she was drugged by a woman who wishes her ill, is enough to make anyone's blood boil. But it is the emotional fallout that truly captivates me. It is the way this one cruel act by Jacinda is going to ripple outward, crashing into Michael, crashing into Nina, and threatening to wash away whatever fragile hope Willow had of simply fixing her marriage. I find myself hoping and praying that Michael will look at his wife, see the pain and the violation she has suffered, and let his protective instincts override his anger. I want to see the Michael who would move mountains for Willow. But I also know how stubborn the Corinthos and Quartermain men can be. If he lets his pride blind him to what Willow has actually been through, it will be a tragedy of epic proportions. And Willow, sweet, strong Willow, she is going to have to find a way to channel this fury. She cannot let Jacinda's poison ruin her spirit, and she cannot let her desperation to win Michael back turn her into someone she is not. As I sit here reflecting on all of this, I am just struck by the power of these stories. They remind us of how fragile trust is, how fiercely we must protect the ones we love, and how quickly a situation can spiral out of our control. I will be watching every single moment of this fallout with bated breath, holding my coffee cup tightly, rooting for Willow to find her strength, for Michael to find his compassion, and for Nina to finally find the peace with her daughter that she so desperately craves. The storm is certainly brewing, my friends, and I have a feeling we have not even seen the worst of it yet.